Coming to y'all at Tuesday, May 12th, 10:04. And today I wanted to talk about how humanity, I just wanted to talk about humanity and how fucked it can be. I've been thinking about this for a very long time, and I always found the concept of hell theory. Because when you really describe hell, it's eternal agony and you're just drowning in lava, right? That's just the common perception of hell. But I never ever thought that a human on earth could commit a crime so devastating that it equates to the consequence of hell. I never really understood that. I always thought the consequence of hell could, like, no human ever deserves that, no matter who you are, no matter what you did. And that might be crazy to say, but in my opinion, eternal agony just seems like abysmal in a word to put it. I can't really the human brain already can't fathom in eternity, so it's kind of fun to think about. And I think it's also funny how in the world that we live in, there's nice people and there's mean people, right? Human beings kind of categorize those two as nice and mean people, and we kind of just toss aside people who are mean and in this world, we try to say we all need to be kind, but in reality, that can't happen, and that wouldn't be good for society, because if everyone was nice, there would be the world would be fucked. Okay, everything has to have a contrast. What I'm trying to say, everything in this life has to have a contrast. So when there's good, there has to be bad, because the only reason that we know what good is because there's an opposite force against it. So if the world is always good, there will never be that contrast. So it's like saying if the world was all bad, there would never be, I'm just talking at this point. I don't know. Just getting lost in my own thoughts, I guess. There's so many religions out there. No matter if you're Christian, Muslim, we're all just human beings at the end of the day, and we never know what really happens until you die, because in this world, we truly know nothing, no matter how many times I say, spread the love, be the love on this channel, at the end of the day, we're all just gonna die one day. So it kind of makes me think, what gets me out of bed in the morning? What gets you out of bed in the morning? Why can't we just sit in bed all day? But we have these responsibilities that weigh upon us that make us have to get out of bed. And I got to thinking, what if we didn't have those responsibilities, This world is funny because we started from nothing. Really nothing. We started from nothing, knew nothing, and we built ourselves up over and over and over, building upon history, learning from our history and our past. And yet, even though we learn from our history, we always are still always lacking behind. Because even with how much we know now, we still know nothing, because if you were to get someone from the start of time and Adam and Eve, in the caveman era, if they were to ask questions to us, then we wouldn't have all the answers. we wouldn't have all the answers, you know? We kind of like, most of the time, people just chop it up to say it was the Lord that did it. And that is a reasonable answer, but it still begs the question, you know? Because there comes like a point where every religion, no matter who you are, no matter what religion you are, at one point you questioned it, you know? Like, you question, how do I know this is real? That's perfectly normal, because it's perfectly normal to be skeptical, because in this world, nothing is promised. That's why I can't remember the movie this quote is from, but I remember the quote going like, the truest, no, the most devoted atheists were once the truest Christians. And kind of got me thinking. I was like, I was a little kid when I saw this, but now it's just now popping into my head. I'll say it again. The most devoted atheists were once the most truest Christians. And it kind of just shows how like values can be flipped so easily. But it's all a matter of faith, you know? It's all a matter of just believing. But it's funny. You know, sometimes I just like to sit here and think. I could sit here all night with my thoughts just thinking. There's no fun in that. So I just started making these videos that sometimes I just don't even know why I'm making them. I don't even know what I'm doing with my life. I don't know where it's gonna end up. You know, kind of say these things I'm gonna do, but who am I if I don't even do what I am gonna say? It's probably gonna be for today though. You are loved. Be an ear to somebody. If someone needs an ear to lend, be that ear to lend to somebody, you know. And it's important, it's very important to just spread the love. Spreading love is important, and just loving in general. Learning to love is a very important thing. But that concludes today's session. I love y'all. Have courage. Don't get pushed over, and know your own words. That concludes today's session. Tuesday, May 12th, 2013. I hope you have a great day, night, evening, wherever you're watching this. And I'll see you on the next one.